Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, Roger. How's things?
Fine, thank you. Can you just please explain how this has gone from a petrol station into a fantastic building?
Well, there's been a service station. Just a reminder, we are currently in North Ceredigion on the west coast of Wales, a little north of Aberystwyth. There's been a service station of some sort, a cafe here since the early 60s, I think, and very popular it was with passers-by because there's a lot of people going north and south passing by. But that business, which was basically a shop, a cafe, a petrol station, even actually did tyre replacements at one stage, that shut down in 2009. And when that went, we lost our village shop, we lost our village cafe, basically a lot of the social facilities in the village. No one seemed to be interested in taking it on. A couple of years later, a group of locals were sitting around in the pub, I believe, and someone said, well, why don't we run it ourselves? And the idea was born of taking it on as a community project, as a community-run business. Thankfully, the people who owned the site were very generous. They let us have it completely rent-free, I think, for about 18 months. And so we opened in the old building in 2013. Initially very much as an experiment. Just, is there demand for something like this? And it turned out there was demand for something like this. There was a lot of demand for something like this. And once it was clear we could be successful, could be run by the community, a group of people got together and started looking for grants to see where we could get some money to ideally start paying rent and take the place over. And that was so successful. We raised something like £900,000 over the next few years. Most of it from the lottery, £500,000 from the National Lottery, which is very generous. But substantial chunks from the Welsh Government, from the EU, from Ceredigion, our local council, who are very, very helpful as well. And between that was enough for us to buy the site and commission architects to put up this wonderful new, environmentally sound, custom-built building. The entire thing is absolutely top of the range in terms of environmental standards. It's incredibly well insulated, so that in fact we don't use the heating even in the winter. We've got 9 kilowatts of solar panels on the roof, which is a useful contribution to the heating bill and the electricity bill. The building was even directly positioned so that we'd have the optimum angle for the solar panels. Most of it is made of local timber, harvested from forests just up by Machynlleth. We used local builders, local architects, basically everything we possibly could. And we opened this new building in September 2017. So we've now been open here for coming up to 6 years, and it's been incredibly successful. The whole idea with it was initially just to do something for the community. We wanted a shop, we wanted somewhere where we could meet, because since we opened initially we've lost the village school, we've lost the church as well. We've got a pub, and that's about all that was left. And having Cletwr, it's completely revitalised the community. Okay. From the beginning, we've used an awful lot of volunteers who relied on them. And in the early years, it was basically volunteers with a couple of staff. We've now grown to the point with the shop and the cafe, they're so busy, so successful, that we generally have about a dozen full-time equivalent staff, paid staff, which is bringing employment into a rural area. We still have 40, 50 volunteers who look after the gardens. We have sort of the slightly wild patch over in the corner, which is pollinator friendly. We actually won some kind of award for being pollinator friendly.
Right.
We have a little bee hotel in the back garden as well.
Excellent.
And the volunteers doing so many jobs. Some are literally just working in the cafe, washing up, standing behind the till, doing all these kinds of jobs. But we have the gardeners, we have people running a range of other services, because we're more than just a shop and a cafe, we're a hub for the community. And so one of the things we do a lot of is organise events.
Right.
All sorts. They could be IT courses in how to use computers for pensioners. It could be yoga courses, it's going for walks, it's going out for a dawn chorus walk with an expert who will identify all the birdies in the dawn chorus and 6 a.m, which
Okay, so it
never
really
appealed
is
to
a
me.
community hub as well.
Absolutely. We have little groups that come in. I mean, one is always fun, the Knit and Natter group.
Right, yeah.
Every Tuesday afternoon, group of ladies come in and just sit in the little couch and knit and natter. And it's an opportunity to socialise.
Yeah.
Which is the key
And
thing.
the local produce, the food is actually local produce as well.
Some
It's
of it
important.
is.
Some of it is.
It's a mix. Obviously, one level, we're a village shop, so we have to stock the basics that people want. So we get a lot of our fresh fruit and veg actually from a chap who pops up to Liverpool Market. He's a wholesaler, but we phone our order in. He then visits Liverpool Market for all his other customers, buys in the market, brings it straight down here. So it's not local, but it's a lot fresher than most of the supermarkets are doing.
Exactly. So you're doing your best.
We're doing our best, but we do also work with a couple of local growers who keep us going with salad stuff in season.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think local farmer gives us potatoes. We have a lot of meat and such. There's several small local producers bring their pork and lamb in. And also it's other things. There's a woman in the village makes soap.
All right.
And we sell her nice little fancy soaps and things. It depends on what we've got in. Our focus is very much on supporting the local economy wherever we can. So a lot of little village shops like this, they probably have about 3 or 4 suppliers. They literally pop down to the local cash and carry, and that's where they get most of it. We have about 70 or 80 suppliers on our books.
Excellent.
A lot of them small, either very local or wider Welsh suppliers, because it's so important to keep the money in the local community going round.
Yeah.
So our salad sales people will come in, we'll pay them, then they do some shopping.
So
we probably get it back again.
Comes around.
And it's been that whole focus on a sustainable business which supports all aspects of life, really, for people to actually live here rather than just sleep here. That it's a problem with so many rural communities now where there's a nearby town 5, 10, 15 miles away and the villages surrounding it, people go there to sleep, but there's nothing in the community.
Like you say, we're not far from Aberystwyth,
and there's a lot of people around here who actually work down in Aberystwyth. Things have changed a bit, interestingly, with COVID, because of course a lot of people are working at home now. So in many ways there was more demand for our services during the week. That people used to pop in on the way home from work. Now they pop in during the day because they're working at home.
This is it.
And I say it's very much aimed at long-term sustainability. We've just had our 10th birthday. Which for any small business is actually quite good.
It is good. No,
but there's no reason why we won't still be here in 50 years' time, still working for the community, because our whole direction is, what does the community want? People often ask, well, what are you going to do next? What's your strategy? And everything. And our strategy is not to have a strategy.
That's fair enough.
Basically, we will react, we will respond. When someone comes and says, hey, could we do X? We will see what we can do.
And just notice the local bus service. So if people don't have a car, the bus service comes past here as well.
We're remarkably lucky on that, in that because we're on the main road, we do actually get quite a good bus service. So Lisa's on the Cwmni down to Aberystwyth, hourly service.
Right.
It dies down in the evenings, which is the problem. I think the last bus back from Aberystwyth was about 9:30 at night.
Well, that's a good point to mention. What time do you open?
We open at, no, it's changed slightly. Now it's 9 o'clock in the morning and we're open till 5:30.
Okay.
It used to be 8:30 until 6:30
Right.
pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was people popping in to grab something on the way to work
Right.
or on the way home from work,
Okay.
which just isn't there now. We're currently looking at, can we expand the hours a bit more again, at least over the summer, while there's all the holiday makers around. But more hours means more people, more staff, more wages and everything else. And it's not been, COVID hasn't been great to us. We survived, but we ended up spending quite a lot of our savings to keep us going. And now we're in the process of rebuilding so,
savings again.
just simply sort of saying, oh, take on another half dozen staff
No,
isn't
it's not
really
possible.
an option. But I mean, I say we're very pleased of, I mean, so many aspects of it. We get a lot of local youngsters involved, starting off as volunteers. We employ them as well, so they'll have Saturday job in the shop or work in the cafe and things like that. Again, not many jobs locally in a rural area for youngsters. Getting them to volunteer for starters, again, was important, because if we can get the idea of volunteering being a natural part of life, it's what people do. Hopefully they will carry on doing it. When they go away to university, they might do something
this
there.
is it,
Life will then get in the way, they'll have families, jobs, things like that. But in later years, when they've got a bit more time, maybe they'll go back to it, they'll work in their Oxfam shop or whatever it happens to be. So working with youngsters is something we really like. And a surprising spin-off from that was the whole intergenerational mixing.
Yeah, that's another good thing.
That we've got the youngsters, we've got the retired people, they know each other. Otherwise, where would I meet local teenagers?
Well, you don't. This is it. This is it. You don't.
And
that's what people are trying to set up now in places.
Exactly. And it sort of works so well that it's point that many places, if sort of elderly persons walk along the street in the evening and they see someone in a hoodie, around here it's, oh, that's so and so.
Yeah, well, that's what we need.
With me shopping.
That's what we need.
And people know each other. We don't necessarily make lifelong friends and live in each other's
but you just
pockets.
know each other, and then you respect each other.
You know them, you see someone in the street, you say hi. We had a sort of a set of party, volunteers, staff, everything like this, in the pub. We do it every year, partly because it's a useful way of us supporting the pub by sort of getting them to cater and do all the drinks and everything. And we had one a few years back, and there must have been 100 odd people there.
Lovely.
And I was sitting there just looking around, realised I know virtually every one of these.
Good.
Not half the time, I didn't know their names.
But you know them.
But I know them. That I know, she's the lady who always buys the whatever, or oh yes, you help in the cafe, and all these sort of activities going on.
Lovely.
And it goes, there's so many odd little features of what we've been doing. I mean, one thing we're quite pleased with, a lot of people stop off here to use the toilet.
Right.
Quite reasonable. And they come in, they use the loos. We thought, well, okay, they might stop off and get a coffee or something as well. But we thought, well, we don't mind them doing that. But we started putting up some posters in the collection box outside the loo.
Right.
For the toilet twinning charity.
Okay.
Who work towards providing toilets, sanitation, education and so on in various in rural areas around the world where they don't have it. And we basically said, okay, you're welcome to use our lovely clean toilets with the fresh water and everything. Think about people who don't have that. Please make a donation to help it. In the first 2 years we were doing it, pre-COVID, we took £4,000 in 2 years, which that basically paid to build I think it's £75 a toilet, something like that. So you can go to, or you can buy school toilets, a toilet block for a school, 250 quid.
Yeah.
And so, yes, our customers have provided toilet facilities to several hundred people around the world. And it's little things like that. It's remembering that, yeah, we're doing this for our community, but there's a wider community out there throughout the world.
Exactly.
And bring it all home. So,
But on that point, I think will just be perfect. Because that's actually 18 minutes.
Good Lord.
Well, no, I don't know how far people listen. But I just want to. I mean,
I can talk for hours.
well, that's all right. It's not a problem. It's just that is we just try and keep people in. I just wanted to make sure I got the name in it because that's that. And these books are?
These books, they're all in the Welsh language and the Gymraeg, because the language is such an important part of our community here in Midwest. And so this is one of the ways we support the language. We have it, the library, we have a lot of multilingual signage. Many of the staff speak Welsh and are happy to chat in Welsh to customers. So the aim is to make the language a natural part of our community.